This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, we want to see, is fair magic finally back? You know, little bits of card advantage, removal spells, threats, careful plotting your way through the turns. Is it back? And I think nothing personifies the hope for fair magic more than Golgari midrange. So, we are playing a deck I have affectionately titled Golgarbage. Just a pile of Golgari cards. Now, there are many excellent Golgari cards I'm not playing in this deck. Trust me, I started with all of them. You can usually find them by typing in legend or legendary and limiting your pool to the black and green set of cards. Liliana, tried it? Nah. Rankle, tried it? Not in this deck. Very good in aggressive decks, very not good in this deck. Questing Beast, not that good anymore. Too many things that trade with it, and it's all about battlefield right now, having creatures on the battlefield. This is good in very aggressive decks, not mid-range decks. Picking off planeswalkers is rare for this card. So I think that makes it a lot worse. Garruk, again, aggressive decks. Much stronger in aggressive decks. It's kind of amazing how many cards are aggressively slanted that look like mid-range cards. Vivian, very good, but better with creatures, and we don't have very many creatures. So Vivian didn't make the cut either. Great Henge, again, you need creatures. So you're catching a theme. Nissa, tried this one a lot. Need creatures. Creatures to reanimate or sneak into play is the best part of this card. Playing it for the +1 is not great. So Nissa didn't make the cut here because it's a low creature deck. Shevel. Shevel likes a lot of removal spells. The problem with Shevel is if your opponent doesn't play anything for you to put a counter on, it's just a 2-mana 1/3 Death Touch. It's a very sad card on its own. It's the last card I cut because it could definitely fit this archetype. It could be in here. Grokmaw. Actually, this card was very good. And a lot of matchups. And I did have 4 of this card in the deck a good amount of the time. The problem with the card, it does have some natural foils. Exile effects and Heartless Act removing counters from this is very bad. What you're playing it for, what you're really playing it for, is if you don't have a lot of creatures with +1/+1 counters, is the fact that it's getting 2 3/3s for 3 mana. One that trades and one that stays. The problem is when you don't get that other 3/3, you just played a really bad draft uncommon in your constructed deck. So Grokmaw belongs in a different deck as well. A few cards stayed because they are grindy and offer card advantage, and those are Garruk the Cursed Huntsman and Polukranos the Unchained. But even those are just one-ofs because you don't want too many. What you do want in this deck to claw out those grindy victories are cards that produce card advantage or protect cards or remove things. Llanowar Visionary actually is a pretty sweet card for the deck because you get a card in exchange for it and the opponent does feel pressured to do something about it, or you have a mana advantage and you get to play Elder Gargaroth. The ideal turns for this deck is on turn 2, Duress or Agonizing Remorse to take away the removal spell and scout out their hand. Turn 3, Llanowar Visionary or Cultivate. Turn 4, Gargaroth, run away with the game. Doesn't happen very often. Why? Because the opponent gets to make plays too, and this deck is ultimately a reactive deck, which is why we have Heartless Act and Bloodchief's Thirst and Mythos, and all these things try to keep the opponent off the board while you set up your amazing Gargaroth attacks. Once Gargaroth starts attacking, it's a lot like Uro. It just turns a corner, you know what I mean? It just turns a corner where every turn you're getting a 3/3, or you're getting to draw a card, or you're rebuilding your life total. And so the point of the deck is to not die, affect the opponent's hand because you know they'll have interaction for the Gargaroth, and then attack with Gargaroth. Once you've done that, you're usually in a good place. Scavenging Ooze is key because graveyards matter. Kroxa is a huge problem. Rogues are a thing. So Scavenging Ooze helps hold it down. Also life gain. The deck has some of it, not a ton. Agonizing Remorse. This card also gets in the graveyard but also hits the hand. Very excellent. Mazemind Tome. Guys, if your deck isn't aggressive, and even if your deck is and you're playing best of 3 with sideboards, I think almost every deck in the meta at some point should consider Maze Mind Tome, either in the sideboard for certain matchups or in best of 1. If your deck is not aggressive, if it's any kind of a mid-range combo, value, ramp, just about anything, you should consider Maze Mind Tome. The card goes toe-to-toe with control mages and just keeps you in those games, because most decks have a late game engine. This deck really struggles for one in the colors of green and black that works. Like, what's our engine? It's attacking with Gargaroth. What's wrong with that? Elspeth Conquers Death, Heartless Act, anything that kills Gargaroth. There's plenty of it out there. We need a way to rebuild. We need a way to set it up so that we can get back to a world where we Agonizing Remorse, see the opponent has no thing to kill the Gargaroth, play the Gargaroth, attack with the Gargaroth. It's a multi-turn advantage setup game plan that hasn't been good in Standard for a long time because every card has been freaking insane on its own and drawn a million extra cards. But now, things may not be like that. That's why this is the test for the format. If this deck is good, mid-range is good, and many people would define it as a pretty decent format. So, that's the narrative. Before we dive in, it's Twitch Prime Day. The day that I'm recording this, or Amazon Prime Day. That's what it is. Sorry. Let's make it Twitch Prime Day. If your household has Amazon Prime, you can get a free Twitch Prime subscription, also known as a Twitch Gaming subscription, for free, because Twitch is owned by Amazon. What you have to do is look up how to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's in Settings, Connections on Twitch, or you can make a Twitch account and do that link. You can also Google this. There are many very handy guides. Once you've done that, you get one free subscription per month. Now on YouTube, subscriptions are free. On Twitch, subscriptions usually cost you $4.99. But you get one for free with your Amazon Prime linked account. And with that free account, with that free sub, if you give that to moi, or whoever your favorite streamer is, we get what we call the Bezos bucks. We get about $2.50 that you didn't have to, your benefit is free. We get a little bit of money from Amazon. So it's a win-win. If you think Amazon has enough of your money and you would like them to support your streamer, this is a way for you to do that. It's a sweet deal. I hope you do it. I hope you check it out. It only takes a few minutes. And it's a reminder also for anybody who has dropped that Twitch Prime sub. It's getting to be the middle of the month. It's a good time to go renew. They don't renew on their own. So you drop by my channel on Twitch, link in the description, hit the subscribe button, scroll down to where it says for free or renew for free, hit that button, and you support the channel for another month. It only costs you a few minutes of your time, and hopefully the daily content is worth it for you. So thanks for the little rant. Enjoy Amazon Prime Day. I'm going to buy myself some new outfits for evil CGB to wear on Twitch. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. It's a good hand. Easy keep. Tome, Cultivate, that's your card advantage. Ooze is a board presence. Attack the graveyard if they go after it. Bloodchief's Thirst is a removal. We could get mono-redded, but aside from that, feeling solid. Of course, if we draw Gargaroth, the mono-reddening is much harder for them. Dun 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 dun, Triome. This is mono-red. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Alright, so play this, hello, shut up. Obviously, you have no one's best intentions in mind but your own. You're masquerading as a person. Alright, what do we need? We need Gargaroth. Maybe a hand disruption spell to take the Embercleave away. Removal is good. We'll take removal. Draw. Main. Alright. So we want to set up the Ooze. We don't want to cultivate this turn. We take too much damage. Let's fire a Bloodchief's Thirst on the Robber. It deals more than the Fervent Champion for now. Heartless Act the Annex. Then play Ooze. Eat some stuff. Si es perfecto. Alright. Opponent gets a token. They deal me a damage. They skip the stop I put in. Guess I was late. Scavenging Ooze. Really, 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 guys, wish I had another green source here. We've gotten a little bit unlucky on what we've drawn. And we're running out of cards. And the opponent is doing it, as usual. Everybody attacks because the opponent either has Embercleave or they have a shock or something of that nature, so blocking here is not really good. So what we want to try to do is draw into removal if they don't cleave. Or if they do cleave. If they don't, we want to grow the ooze and then get to blocking later. Yeah, okay, dude. Alright. Time to stop drawing land. More ooze? Is that what we need? It's better than drawing a land, right? And it can be decently sized. Alright. This is 4 life. This is extra lands. The green sources are nice, but I think what we want to do most is use the tome here. And get another card. Alright, a green source, good. Can play this. Ooze this graveyard. See how the opponent wants to do this? I guess any shock gets them through this ooze, so we'll play the other one. And hope they don't have 2 shocks. God, they're annoying. It was definitely the wrong game to draw, like, Cultivate Tome. I hate you so much, Mono Red. I wish you nothing but pain and hell. Alright, so how to block. We don't have a block that will save this Scavenging Ooze, so we could just do this and take too much. So let's go over here, and this ooze will feed this ooze. It's not going well. Alright. Very unlucky draw. Get all of the green sources. We're going to need them. Because it's 1 ooze against the world. Just waiting for them to draw Embercleave and finish the job. So, everybody in, or? They have to think about it. Nice. Alright, that last card is just a land. Oh, come on! Are you serious right now? Cultivate, draw 2 straight land. Actually, we've drawn like 4 straight land, I think, since the tome went away. But they're drawing land too. Okay, that's a big draw. That can take out an Embercleave. Torbrand. Okay, here they come. Here they come. They feel it now. Oh, by the way, they even have the land for the castle. Uh-huh. Yep, they're feeling strong. Got him. Get that life now, just in case I'm not doing the math. I mean, it's still a lot of damage. Down to 3. Now eat the Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, we need another good draw here. We're really close to being dead anyway, right? Because they still have 2 champions, so this is 5. And we don't have any more creatures, so we still need the top of the deck. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. Hold! Alright, before the pumps. Still want to attack? Yeah, that seems like an Embercleave, doesn't it? Maybe I should have held the Heartless Act. Rimrock Knight. Okay, that's not good enough. Not quite. We can't use our castle, though. Oh, wait, we can. Okay, so we go to 1. What a game. It's definitely a comedy of errors. But at least it's still a comedy. Give me that. Ooze for life. That's got to be the worst possible draw. I can't play it, and I can't use castle because of it. That's it. That's game. That's got to be the worst possible draw in the deck to top off this absolutely horrible game of Magic. Out on my own sword. Another land. Worst game of my life, I think. We'll try it. Very resigned. For one thing, we're playing against Yorion, which is not a matchup I feel good about. Second thing, that game with Mono Red is just gonna haunt me forever. Like I'm just no good. Like this deck will always be trash in my eyes now until it beats the crap out of 10 or 11 Mono Red decks after that game. Just 100% trash Magic. Blue-white control. I'm already angry. I'm just jealous. I was supposed to play blue-white control. Frantic. Well, we'll see if the Scavenging Ooze can pick that off before they play another. Tome. Can be solid. So what do we play? If we play the Gargaroth, then we might get to draw a card off of Shatter the Sky, and if they don't have it, they do have to answer this right away. Or we could hit for 4, play Polychronos, same thing, and then we follow up with Gargs. Yeah, I like that better. Could also try to resolve the Tome. Don't think I love that. Play this now in case they have Jwari Disruption before I attack with the Visionary. Okay. How do they do it? 80 cards, easy 2 of. Frantic Inventory, probably a 3 of. How do they do it? Ooh, they're going to discard step and no Shatter the Sky. 80 cards. Well, maybe there's your downside. Maybe it's hard. Maybe it's hard to draw into your Shatter the Sky. It'd be nice if things came with a price. What do we got on top of this deck? Yep. Yep. Do we go for the Tome and just... I guess we can't play it this turn, right? We don't have a way to draw another card. So we'll probably try for the Tome, but let's punch him in the face. Big hits. Opponent makes a Shark. Okay, we can resolve Tome and kill Shark, so there's no block. Well, we don't have to resolve the Tome either. We can pump the Ooze instead. Would we rather hit the opponent even harder, or would we rather have our Tome? I'm thinking the answer is Tome. The only thing that I'm worried about with playing Tome is what does next turn look like. I guess we really want to remorse the opponent before we play a Gargaroth, but if they tap out and Shatter, then we want to play a Gargaroth. This is actually a tough decision. Alright, let's go for hitting them now. You discarded the Archon, I'll use it against you. And we'll get rid of one of these inventories, because we can. Just in case they have the third. because the shuffler's fine. Down to 5. They have to do something. Elspeth Conquers Death also isn't good enough here, because they're at 5. Says go. Must be another Typhoon, and we have Polukranos to clear the shark out of the way. So let's pressure, and the opponent says no. No! No, you do not get to see my hand of 7 cards that are actively doing nothing. No! It doesn't even have black mana. Will I draw one? Does that make the hand good enough? It's all the things. All the things, but no black mana. Let's mull it. We can do better. Okay. Here, I think we put away the ooze because it won't be good early. It's always good when you draw one a little, just a little into the game. You want to play it, eat 1 or 2 creatures, then your ooze is good. Earth Amel Etis. Ooh, yeah. That's the card we want. Give it the tome. It's a good read. You should all try out the tome. Not sure what I want yet, so I'm not even going to use it. There's nothing wrong with slow rolling the tome. Looks like our opponent's on Doom Foretold though, so it's possible I should be just trying to get the cards from it while I can, but I do have a Mythos, and now I have a Visionary. So those can eat some Doom Foretold action. Yep. Omen. How's my Doom matchup? Probably not great. We're not designed for it. Relies on things like Agonizing Remorse, which we don't have. Archon. Okay. That I can handle. I'm ready for that. Cultivate and Heartless Act available this turn. Feels good. This one into my hand. Okay, choose one, put that onto the battlefield. The other will go to your hand. That's you. And since they have flash effects, let's destroy this now. I'll have to take 2 damage from the tokens because I tapped my Visionary, but I'm okay with that. To make sure they don't get a free 2/2 Pegasus by flashing in an Omen of the Sea, for example. Elder Gargaroth, aka Elspeth Conquers Deathbait. We really want to draw them into playing the Elspeth Conquers Death, but we also need to get this out of the graveyard. I guess we can Mythos the ECD, but we want them to play it on the Visionary. So we don't want to play our big creatures until we've either hit their hand or drawn out their ECD. Let's scry. Yeah, we'll take another Mythos. It solves Doom Foretold. And we will chill. We don't want to get these things exiled. Like right now, the Omen of the Sun isn't doing anything until the opponent gets rid of the Visionary. If they get rid of the Visionary with an ECD, we're pretty happy. Alright, they play another Archon, that's fine. I could play Polukranos to fight the Archon. They leave the 1 blue open. What do you think I'm going to do? Bust out a blue spell for your Mystical Dispute? It's crazy. It's madness. Alright, do we want... I don't want to get Polukranos exiled, but I... This is tough, because saving Mythos for Doom makes a lot of sense to me. Let's see what we draw. Okay, that helps. That makes it an easier decision. Just keep them dead. Try to find a Scavenging Ooze. Okay, this nothing is just fine. So we shuffle because there's an ooze on the bottom from our scrying. Or no, the cultivate fixed that, but still, I guess we thin the deck. Draw. Three Mythos. Your move. So the opponent might have Hand Hate, Duress, Agonizing Remorse, which is why we don't use the tome on our turn, especially since we're not in a hurry. Keep one to the top. We do need a way to kill this graveyard. Dance of the Manse is another problem that I'm not prepared for with the way things are right now. So they kept on top, and they say go. That tells me that either they're keeping lands and they have Dance of the Manse, or they're keeping counterspells. Or both. So we might have to start making plays just because we need them to not dance, and we need to buy time. So let's make another white source just in case. I'm going to take the draw now. Like an Agonizing Remorse would significantly change my play. Nope. All right, we've got to start forcing them to do things. We just haven't been able to stop their game plan, so we've got to throw things at them, make them have the answers. First answer located. They've been saving that. Yeah, okay, you can feel the Dance of the Manse getting revved up. We've got 2 turns. 2 turns until they get back their whole graveyard as 4/4s. So we have to find a Scavenging Ooze. And that would be a game changer for sure. Get Scavenging Ooze and Agonizing Remorse. They're in the deck. Duress would probably do it too. Alright. 7 lands. I'd say we've done just everything we can to try to get it. To try to make this happen. Okay, the final card on the final turn. What you got? Pause, long pause. 2 Mystical Disputes, and you know who. And I bet they kept a land on top with their Omen. All right. Gargroth. We have enough to pay for the dispute. They kept on top. Must be a solution. Oh, 3 cards, you say? Okay. Another land. No! Magic's easy, guys. Just draw what you need. Alright, we still need a way to clean this graveyard. We are not even close to out of the woods yet. Play that guy. Get it underneath Mystical Dispute. Two to the bottom, that's better. I like that a little bit more. So do we draw? I think we draw. We're gonna do a little fighting, but let's draw. Heartless Act. All right, fight. Snap, snap. Might as well pick them off. One by one. Gargs. Big Gargs. I want your wall. There we go. How many omens, dudes? How many? Well, if they total gang block here, that's fine, right? Or don't block at all? I don't know, life total seems like a resource when you have a blessing. Garg. You're gonna have to scry to another answer. They have somehow, on multiple occasions, had no, like, we've had the Gargaroth, they've had no answer in hand, but they found it. Let's see if they do it again. 2 to the top. Balls. Okay. I'm not gonna like this. Oh, is that an Elspeth Conqueror's Death too? It is. Ah! Fair magic. Fair magic in 2020. I'm an idiot. Let's try it. Yeah, we need to hit land, so we're going to start with the tome. We might have to double scry our way into it. Rakdos. You mean the good mid-range deck. As opposed to my terrible mid-range deck. But we have weapons against them, and we actually drew them. At least right now we have some good weapons available, so hold on to your butts. This might work. I'm just going to focus on drawing with this tome instead of playing the second one. And then possibly scrying if I miss a land here. Well, Cultivate will solve that. We don't need to worry about that anymore. That's why Cultivate's fun in the deck for sure. Do we have enough black? Whoa! Cultivate OP. Pog. Wow, this hand is slow. Very slow. On the draw, too. On the play, I'd keep it. I think you just have to do stuff quicker. This hand is also terrible. Well, at least we have a Blood Chief's Thirst, so we don't get truly run over, and a Cultivate to undo the mulligan, sort of, and fix our mana, but this is not good. It feels like we could get Magic the Gathering, as Merchant would say. Just Magic, the Shuffler decided no chance is what you have in this game. But we're a few good draws away. Alright, the takedown. The good word of the takedown might be spreading. Destroy that. Top of the deck, what you got? Tap land on the draw. Ah! The foil to Heartless Act, and we can't hit land. Can't. Oh, I hate this game. All right, more like I hate this deck. This is every experience I have playing this deck. Just getting absolutely rolled. All right, let's see if they spread out the counters and play around Heartless Act or not. Ooh, they don't. That's a gift. All right, let's see where they target before we remove something. They could have a protection spell though, right? Maybe I'm supposed to play around a protection spell? We're going to use the Heartless Act on this. That's the plan. If they have any way to give it indestructible, that's a big ew. They're stuck on lands too, but they're white and they're aggressive and they're on the play, so they have a huge tempo advantage and we have to figure out how to survive this onslaught. If I had just gone for Cultivate there and Gargaroth next turn, this creature would be an 8/8 by the time Gargaroth did something. And I think I'd just be dead, but I didn't bother with that math. It's almost like instinct. It's like I have to interact with the board right now. I can't play cool things. I can't do fun stuff. Opponent found land, and it's actually an aggressive land, Crawling Barrens. Interesting. I've been thinking that this probably should be in more decks, including my own. It's not that easy to interact with. Eliminate should probably be better. Oh my gosh. Really? Okay. Fine. Fine. Tome Hatred. Yep. I guess any removal spell is a keep at this stage. Now let's see if they... Okay, still no respect for Heartless Act. I was hoping they'd put the counter over here because they saw Heartless Act, but nah. Alright, Apparition. My new nemesis. Getting mauled. You love to see it. Can play this, but still can't Heartless Act, so... I'm still playing around protection spells because it feels smart-ish. We're so low on life. That's what happens when you mulligan miss lands. Your first two plays are tapped lands. We're just so far down we can't make the optimum plays. We just have to fight and claw. I don't know how I'm going to get a window to cast this Cultivate. My opponent has to miss a beat. That's... I think that is what just happened right now. I think they just missed a beat because that can't attack next turn. I don't think there's any combination of cards that can get that thing aggressive next turn. What do they have? They've got just 2 Devotion here. They would need 3. So they need Plains Linden? That would be lethal. I should have held back the 2/2. But I just don't believe it, man. Okay. They've got some critters. That's a good draw. That's a really good draw. It lets us get the Gargaroth down. Destroy target creature. Do we kill the one that has lifelink built in or the one that's going to get big? That bounty is just a potential lethal threat in the long term here. Because it can make something unblockable. Whereas Maul of Skyclaves doesn't get over the Gargaroth. Grrr. But at least they don't get any aggression out of it. Mythos can remove that if we find a white source. I played this as a green source because it was my 3rd land a long time ago. My gosh, can I have a Gargaroth just do something one time? Everybody just always has the removal. Every time. Like, decks are just stacks of removal. Gargaroth never gets to do cool things. I get to do stuff! Hype! I do want to fire off the Thirst on this, but I don't have to yet. If I attack, what happens? Does the opponent have something they can flash in to give this enough devotion? We could interrupt it with Mythos, but I really want to hold this for the light. Let's play it now, I guess. Alright, do we attack with both here? Because of the Vigilance? We can draw a card, or with a Mythos open, I feel pretty good about the attack. And 8. 8 is better than 6 here. I think a card is worth it's close, right? 3 life is good, a 3/3 is good, but I think a card is best. Opponent does have more cards than us. They just have less time, and they have less mana. Remorse. Let's wait. Let's hold up Mythos. The opponent did nothing with the whole turn cycle. That's really good for us. Our opponent did nothing for a whole turn cycle, but just like last turn, they're reading every card they have. I mean, you never know when a line of text might sneak in there that says, I win the game. Do what you gotta do. I guess it's your time. Do what you gotta do. There it is. There it is. So we can get them to 1. And they say that's bad enough. That's close enough for them. Removal, removal, tome. Find a green source. That's all we gotta do with this hand. Find a green source. Headset? CGB, why do you have your headphones on? I just recorded an interview for a thing I can't tell you about yet, but is coming up. Ha! Mono red? Let's slow roll this because we could draw the forest, then play this as white, and then Mythos could hit an Embercleave. Do I go for the tome? Because we know the opponent's going to play a creature. We don't want to lose tempo, because we could instant speed Heartless Act it, then untap and play Visionary on an empty board. That's way better than having to untap and kill a creature. So let's hold the tome. Yep. So now if the opponent wants to Bone Crush this, they have to use mana on their turn instead of, like, if they still had the Annex would be a problem. I think that was pretty good sequencing. So we're definitely going to kill this. Let's keep our Visionary for the mana. I think that this turn is a solid Mythos on the Torbran. The question also is, do we want to Remorse our opponent? And I think that we do, because we might be able to try to set up a block with Visionary, then a Mythos on the Torbran. So Remorse first. The Shock clears the Visionary, so let's take that. Well, let's think. So does the Hazard, but if the opponent shoots the Hazard at the Visionary, we can respond with the Mythos. Yeah, let's take the Shock. Playing the Fable Passage here disguises priority, so they don't know we have an instant speed removal spell. All right, we want to block the Satyr so that if they use the Hazard... Okay, if they reach for the castle, they don't have the Hazard. Let's let the first strike... We could let first strike damage go here. We would take 3. I guess that's not worth it, right? That's not worth it. It's an interesting spot for sure. Now the opponent has to use the Hazard or the Castle to trade with the Visionary, and then they're down to a Fervent Champion. It used their whole turn. We only took 2. We Blood Chief's Thirst the Champion, we play the Tome, we try to get ahead. Now the tricky part is drawing cards that aren't lands. Removal spells are good, Elder Gargaroth is amazing. Hand hate, not so good. They play out the cave. What did they draw? It must be something that's kind of mana intense. Is it the Embercleave? It could be. Good. If it is an Embercleave, we'll get rid of it. Or the Garrick. I think we take a turn to Remorse. If we're going to do that, let's draw first and get the information of what we're going to top deck. Because I do suspect an Embercleave. We have to take a big hit for it, but we make sure that they don't have it. Oh no. That's not good. Oh, not that. Not that. Because we might draw Scavenging Ooze. That's really not good, though. Slaying Fire. So we take 5? 5. Gross. And we're still a little ways away on Tome. Down to 4, and they play Slaying Fire. Ugh, scary. Gargroth. But Gargroth can't block here. So we have to play Garrick and kill it. Alright, top of the deck. Big draw for the opponent right here. Can they finish the job? Okay, they cannot. Vengeance on Mono Red. Vengeance achieved. On the draw, we have plays and a removal spell, so I don't think we can mulligan it. Doesn't give me a ton of confidence, quite honestly, because it seems pretty easy to kill the Visionary, kill the Ooze, run me over, with my only removal spell being 3 mana. But we're probably putting Tome out on 2. We'll just have to see. Depends on how many Gem Razors the opponent might have. What are these sleeves? Anime Chandra? I love the Triomes because they let me play Castle untapped. It's a big hit for me. Rogues? Okay, so find Pelucranos. Might also be Control. Scavenging Ooze is good too. What you got? Control, nice. Tome's gonna get him. Well, we can try. We can hope. The Control matchup is hard. Everything about it is hard. But I'm pretty happy to see a Control deck in this spot. Let's see if I get to Cultivate. A little mana advantage would be nice. Let's grab black, since we already have a good amount of green and we have a castle. Okay, all sharks. 1/1 shark in the house. 20 turn clock it unlocked. So what do we want to use this? What do we want? We've got to think about what to use Mythos on. There's probably going to be cards like Ashiok. So like Heartless Act probably needs to be what hits these sharks. I don't think I even want to scry here. I only want the cards. We just want to try to burn our opponent's cards. Every turn, draw an extra card, play an extra thing. So this turn we'll play the Visionary. I'm not in a hurry to care about the 1/1. Don't need to fight over the board. The opponent can decide whether or not they want to use something like an Essence Scatter on the Visionary. That's a good draw, but we'll hold on to it till next turn. It'll be the play we make as well as use Tome. Just want to keep drawing extra cards every single turn. The opponent might also play Hand Hate like another Agonizing Remorse. And that would mean that we want to get these cards. We don't want the cards to sit in our hand too long. So we want to keep using the tomes. All right. Ouch. The opponent has 3 sharks. Shuffler's fine. So they're probably going to try to play draw go with these. We just have to run them out of stuff. There's a Thirst. Thirst is a good start. Let's fire off an Agonizing Remorse. What you got there? We're going to try to just pick them apart. Negate, sure. Alright, Blood Chief's Thirst on your 2/2 creature. We could also play another Tome. Actually, we can do that anyway. That slows their clock back down. Another Tome. See if they negate this. Nope. And no attacks, we'd rather draw. No attack. Interesting. So, blue-black doesn't usually have a way to remove the tome itself. So we want to use one, then use the other, and just keep the counters going one by one. So that if they do have a way to bounce it or something, they don't bounce the one with no counters on it, like that didn't get cards. It's weird. It's very fringe and probably doesn't matter. Remorse you again. Neutralize. Oh, they really want to fight over this. Alright. So I want the cards anyway. Let's draw first. Maybe we'll draw something to put on the field, like a Palukranos. No? Alright. Going to attack with the Visionary and play another Visionary, I think. They still have a full hand, but that's because they're not drawing land. So we've got a long road ahead of us. Still not attacking. Interesting. Scry? I mean, we know they'll counter it, but what we haven't done is found something that we really want to pair with the Remorse. So let's be aggressive. Let's try to pressure their life total, and then they feel like they have to deal with this and deal with the top of our deck. And we're going to hold this for a future turn. I want to see if they do anything on end step. I guess they could try to draw cards. Maybe I should just keep playing these. Just keep their mana busy, because if they're stuck on lands and they have something like a Thassa's Intervention and they want to draw some cards, these cards just keep them from doing that, and they fall further and further behind. Oh! Oh no, you're sad Grixis! You were sad Grixis the whole time. Bonecrusher Giant's definitely the worst. If they draw a red source, that picking off of our creatures is very frustrating. Rip Sag Grixis. Alright, we don't want to play this into the Essence Scatter, so we'll say go. Punished by the colorless land. Oh, Grixis. I mean, we're flooding really hard to give them a chance. Like, our deck is committed to flooding so that they have a chance here. What the heck, man? 24 land. Oh, they're still taking it. Taking the beating. I'll draw one now. What are they going to do this turn if I don't take an action? The most they can do is Heartless Act, and they can't stop that. How many tomes? All of the tomes. Baron's power up. Uh-oh. We're in trouble now. Let's draw some cards, so that we make sure we discard the least effective one. which will probably be a land, but, you know. We could just drop an Ooze, but Ooze is really good against them. But they do have the Essence Scatters, so we have to force them to tap out. It's the land. Let's not... We're goofing off here. Just discard the darn land. You don't need more. You really don't. You got this. Do I let them block? They've just been sitting on this 1/1 for so long. And they can't block with the Barons right now. Putting them at 6 puts them in a tough place. Now they'll feel like they have to use a Heartless Act, which lets us resolve one of our Oozes. They're still not doing it. They're still not letting the Ooze come out. Well, they can't bring Kroxa back yet either. Let's draw a card. See if there's anything we want to play this turn. Have you read this book? It is a page turner. Oh my goodness. You will not believe. Yep. Not a red source. Kroxa! It's like Trogdor, but it's Kroxa. There's a discard. Let's see what the other card we get to reveal here is. We have perfect information on what the opponent's doing here. Like, that's enough. Enough with the books, dude. Put down the frickin' books. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up. The format is much more fair than it's ever been. And the deck it wasn't a losing deck. We did rank up overall. So, I'm going to say some negative sounding things. If you love this style of deck, if you want to grind, if you want to mid-range, like, this is a deck you can play. Now I'm going to say some things that sound a lot more negative. This deck drives me crazy because you fight, like, you tooth and claw to get into the mid to late game with it, and then sometimes you just lose anyway. Your cards don't line up, you flood out. There's no endgame engine that is robust. When I think of Doom Foretold and Dance of the Mance, that is a robust endgame. Eventually, you cast Dance of the Mance for 8 total mana, and everything that happened before is over. Any kind of a ramp deck that casts Genesis Ultimatum, eventually you just Genesis Ultimatum into either more Genesis Ultimatums or Terror of the Peaks, and the game is going to end because of the value overload. Red-Black Kroxa. Eventually you bring back Kroxa enough times to empty their hand, and if they don't draw perfectly, Kroxa ends the game. Like, those are robust endgame engines that are hard to deal with. This deck doesn't have that. Our endgame engine is Elder Gargaroth attacking, which is... You have to play it, you have to untap with it, the opponent has to not top deck removal for it, and the cards you draw, if you're going to use it to draw cards to get ahead, like, they have to be good. So, it's one of the worst endgames, and I don't think there's a better one in the color combination, so for that reason, I'm not recommending this as a contender in the format. This to me is the quintessential, like, there was a saying for the old rock decks that they were like 45% in every matchup. This deck is true, so true to that. Absolutely true to that. It's a 50-50 deck, and you just kind of go back and forth, and some games it plays out in your favor. You play a long game and you win, and some games you play a long game and you die. And sometimes you just die early, although this deck is pretty resilient to the early game. But I hope you get what I'm saying here. There are better end games if you want to play long games, so I'm not going to recommend crafting this baby, but as far as testing the format for are we playing good old-fashioned mid-range big brain Magic, I think that the good news is that it's yes. I think that we showed in this video, decisions matter, drawing the right cards. I mean, you can't get insanely unlucky, but decisions really matter, and it's fun to play. I'm not going to say it isn't fun. So if this is your jam, go forth. Jam. Be cool. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to renew your Twitch Prime subscription and enjoy Amazon Prime Day. And thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.